And we always say India is not a demand problem. India had been, even in the last 9 years, a supply problem. The supplies were at the wrong side of the market, wrong pricing, wrong sizing.
So, Piyush, the repo rate increments are growing concern for the current developers. In the coming months, what do you think would shape up for the real estate sales? Do you think the current hike by the RBI is going to affect the sales in the upcoming festivals? Of course, it's around the corner.
At least looking at the factors which we see on ground, I don't see this to be a dampener, at least for this festive season. A lot will depend on how RBI's rate movement happens over the next 6 and 12 months. Because from today where we sit, if there is, let's say, another movement upward which is less than 100 bips, I think the market sentiment is too strong. The demand is too strong to easily absorb that. Anything more than that, maybe it will start impacting the demand. Because if you see today, even today with all the rate hikes, the home loan rates are still sub 8%, which are still probably as close to the lowest they've always been.
Yeah.
So still the rates are not as high that it will significantly dampen the market. We are talking of practically for 9 years, we haven't seen any rate hikes, price hikes in the properties anywhere in the country. On top of that, the salaries, they have probably in the 9-year period with the average 10 to 12% hike which has been happening, they are more or less tripled or thereabout. So the affordability is pretty high. It's always people who have been sitting on demand, on the fence. And we always say India is not a demand problem. India had been, even in the last 9 years, a supply problem. The supplies were at the wrong side of the market, wrong pricing, wrong sizing. A lot of that has got solved, and that's where we are seeing a massive traction. So I would not lose my sleep over the repo rate hike, at least in the short term. And hopefully the inflation is looking to be tamed down. So we hope it's not a very hike, maybe 1 or 2 cycle max of another 35 to 50 bips kind of a hike. So we should be in a decent zone.
But Piyush, like in the current news, what I have seen is Noida authority has increased the land rate from 20 to 30%, right? And it has affected the serious home buyers because everyone knew Noida is your affordable housing community, or the place where a serious buyer will definitely purchase a house. And that has dampened the dreams of the serious home buyers. So what's your take on that?
I would say it was a very ill-timed move, to be honest. Of all the markets, and when we look at the year-on-year growth across cities, Noida has been among the worst performers. And it's a classic case of how the whole city has faced this trouble because of the wrong policies, the wrong execution which has happened. Maximum number of stuck projects are in Noida or the extended part of Noida as a city. Maximum number of defaulted developers are there. So a lot of challenges were there in the market already. It was barely getting its feet around, and a 20-30% is a massive hike, which is going to have massive impact on the demand, because it was never anyway on the high side. But if you look at any other market, be it Mumbai, be it Pune, be it Bangalore, the amount of demand we are seeing is massive. Each of these cities are probably clocking their best ever monthly numbers month after month. So the demand is very high there. Thankfully, none of the developers have raised their prices in a significant way, and we hope no price hikes happen in a big way, because that can kill the demand, as we have already seen in Noida with any significant increase, because it's more important to drive the volumes. And that's where again it goes back to that, having these corporate houses who can take a more long-term view of the market rather than a very short-term view of that, okay, if I've sold 100 units, let me hike the price. So far, we are in a good space. All the participants have been behaving properly. Let's hope that continues.
So Piyush, in continuation to that, which cities, according to you, in the primary market would you recommend our home buyers in terms of purely ROI? for when it comes to commercial, residential, weekend homes, plots. You got to name one city for each one of these verticals.
That's a difficult one, Kritika, because India is predominantly an end use market today, for sure. The demand we see massively is by the end users, people who are going to live in those homes. So, and that's why most of the traction would be within the city near to the office, which is what we are seeing. At least today, the second home or the holiday home is completely out of fashion. These are predominantly investor plays, and today India, I don't think, is in a stage where we will see a significant investor play happening. But within that, as in, there will always be opportunities to make ROI, and a lot of it always depends on what's happening at a micro market level. So if a particular micro market is seeing significant improvement in connectivity or massive economic activity, those always plays on the how the price hikes work in those markets. Like Gurgaon per se has not seen a lot of activity, but what has worked for Gurgaon, especially the outskirts, is a lot of connectivity projects which were stuck for a long time are getting delivered. Some have been delivered, some are getting delivered in the next 12 months, and these are helping the outskirts to start rise the prices to appreciate faster than the downtown is rising. Mumbai again seeing a lot of metro connectivity for the outskirts, the suburban. So that will help the suburban market to increase in prices, because what drives maximum is actually your commute time. It doesn't matter the distance, it's the commute time which matters. As long as that reduces. So for any buyer, I would suggest when they are looking at, they need to look at what's happening in that micro market and take a pick. Any city can be good and any city will be a bad investment decision, depending on what micro market, what project you picked up.
So if you have to tell three things they should look out for, like for example, infrastructure, development, government, upcoming projects. So what those 3 points would be in terms of if they are looking for the investment?
The one, if it's an end use, obviously it means vicinity to where you need to go, where the schools are, where your offices are, etc. But purely from an investment perspective, the biggest thing, as they say in real estate, is location, location, location. So infrastructure is what makes or breaks any location. That's what should be the highest factor one should look at. Within a project, what also matters is look at the brand of the developer, look at their delivery track record, because all of those are important. You don't want to get stuck in a project which will either not get delivered or get delivered with a very long time lag. So that's the two biggest factor, I would say, is one, location, and two, the project which you choose, the developer partner you choose.